Hi, Suma. Good evening.
Hi, hi Varma. Sorry, I was not in mute. Okay. Hello, Varma.
Yes, Suma.
Yeah. So, are you working in AI development
Yeah,
side?
yeah. I work on both AI development and I actually lead different teams with respect to development
Okay.
and testing as well. Yeah.
Oh, testing as well. Okay.
Yes. Especially towards AI testing.
Oh, okay, okay. So, in your company, it started testing?
Yeah, it's already there.
Okay, okay.
Let's wait for 5 more minutes and then get started, guys. Okay, before we get started, we can discuss other things. How many of you have joined this particular discussion today, like freshly today? Mm, Poonam, Hari, Deepak. So you three have joined uh, for the first time in this course. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, yes. Today is
Yeah.
my first day.
Okay, Hari and Poonam, both of you, right? So, okay.
Right.
Yeah, myself, Takshin Verma. I'll be the trainer of this particular course. And mm, uh, can I understand, Poonam, are you into testing or AI or what are you working on?
I'm into testing early, and I particularly joined this course because currently in my company they have started focusing on AI, and I'm getting features for testing which are they're telling me to test AI response, which I'm not really sure how to go about. Yeah.
You can actually watch yesterday's recording where we have clearly covered how different is AI response than traditional responses or traditional test cases. And we have also discussed in what all different dimensions we test AI responses. So you can give it a watch. You'll have better clarity after this call. After this call.
Okay, we'll do that.
And Hari, are you also into testing?
Yeah, testing only on 12 to 13 years experience. Right now,
Okay.
working on agentic AI based application.
Okay.
So for that, I want to enhance my skills on AI testing.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Both of you can bring down your hands raised. So for you also, Hari, it would be a good watch if you can uh, look at the demo video, like demo class of yesterday, the video recording. That will be great
Okay, so
intro for
just
you.
to understand high level, so this we are going to cover AI testing and automation also, right?
Yes.
Automation tool,
Yes.
any specific
Automation
tool,
of AI testing.
which to any specific tool automation?
Yeah, we'll be using Python with DeepEval and Ragus.
Okay, that is for LLM automation, right?
Yes. Yeah, we are purely covering on LLM testing, LLM or generative application. generative AI application testing, and uh, pipelines or complete automation workflows for testing LLMs itself,
Okay, okay, fine.
LLMs and generative AI applications.
Okay.
Yeah, it's already 9:05, and I hope we can get started. And even before starting the session, like yesterday after the session, I realized that if we are taking questions in the middle of the sessions and it is taking us in a complete different direction, and maybe we are disturbing other persons who are not having such questions. Maybe we'll have the questions towards the end, maybe when we are left with 5 or 10 more minutes. So, let us discuss about your Q&A maybe towards the end of the session. Fine. Okay. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Hmm. Yesterday, for the people who have not joined yesterday, and people who might have forgot what they have learned yesterday, I'm just giving a kind of recap of what we have discussed yesterday before we get started. Okay. Yesterday, we have discussed about AI testing, what actually AI testing is, who this AI testing course is for, and how is it different from manual testing or general traditional testing. What are different parameters that we test LLM for? And we have also discussed how random or how probabilistic the AI responses are and how do we test them, a high level understanding of how is it different from general testing, right? So today we want to understand, okay, anyhow, we have got an understanding of how to test these things, but how do I know how does it behave? How do I know how to write these test cases, test scenarios, or test evaluation plan, all of these things without even understanding what AI is or how these things work? How do I write test cases to them? Or how do I go ahead without having understanding? So today, we are going to build a technical clarity if you don't understand how AI models internally work, right? If you don't understand them, how internally they work, you cannot properly test them, right? It is always like we are just guessing that this would be the case where it gives me output like that, like this, and we would be firing in the air, right? Now, if we have the understanding properly, you can test it with more clarity. Here in this particular session, we are not learning math, we are just learning the mechanics, how those things work. And by the end of this session, you will be understanding how an LLM actually thinks. Okay, what like this particular module, I call it. Am I sharing my screen? No, I guess yes. I'll start sharing my screen. You just confirm me before I get started. You just confirm me if my voice is properly audible and my screen is properly visible.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for confirming. So today I call this particular module as called as like I call it as AI internals for testing, AI testing. Today we are going to understand the internal functionalities or internal functioning of an LLM, how it works and how it responds, how it thinks differently each time. And this particular module, I'm planning to cover it in 2 days, today, tomorrow, or if there are any uh, like spillovers, I will cover them in the third day. So yeah, let's get started. Yeah, everything today revolves around six things: how AI systems are architected, how these models learn, the magic behind these LLMs, neural networks, how these neural networks work or what happens inside these neural networks, and how LLMs generate those texts or LLMs produce responses, and why all these outputs vary from time to time, response to response or session to session. We will be understanding as part of this module. And most importantly, the technical failure here with LLMs is hallucinations and bias. So this is going to be the internal behavior understanding. Okay. I would like to have this session to be an interactive one. So when I ask any question, any one of you can talk about what you know or what you understand about things. So before we understand or before we get into what is AI, can anyone give me a simple definition of what AI is in your mind, in your head?
That artificial intelligence trained by data collections, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. And
About data
the different
collections.
persons. Yeah, correct. And what else do you think AI is?
Any system
Yeah.
that has capability to understand your communication, human like language, and response
Mm-hmm.
in the similar manner based on
Mm-hmm.
set rules and probability.
True. And somebody else who's also speaking.
Here we
It's
have to
like
make the machines
it's like
think as we think. Based on the
Mm-hmm.
past experiences, we have a bulk data sets on the past, and we'll be selecting some features that are affecting the output. And the
Mm-hmm.
training is done by using the ML algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
And based on the ML algorithms, we can predict what actually required. Based on the query, whatever we had given, they go into the past trained data and get it back.
Yes. Very well said.
Thank you.
So, artificial intelligence is a kind of system which will learn from data and behave appropriately, behave as expected. Okay, just like us. AI is a kind of system which thinks like us, which responds like us, and which understands things like us. How is it done? We have to train a particular model. But where is this model coming from? And whatever you are looking at now, today, ChatGPT, Gemini, uh, in the process of generating these images that you want, videos that you want, whatever you are looking at today is a developed AI. But behind it, there is always an if-else kind of condition that is running inside the model. Then who writes this logic? Who writes this if-else condition? How is it written? In traditional softwares or in traditional programming, what is the way of writing these systems? You just take a function, like define a function, write the kind of rules that you know. Even when we are growing up, what do? We build rules inside our head, right? When you first time touch the fire, you'll get a burn. And then you will know that you don't have to touch it. Like you are not allowed to touch it because it burns your skin. That is the way that you have learned that it is danger, right? How is it programmed for a machine to react in the same way? How it is done in traditional systems? Let's say the same thing I want to make my system learn or my a function to learn how to respond to things. Whenever an input is given that fire, I should say danger. This is a kind of if condition that I can write, right? If it is not fire, if it is water, if else, it is safe, right? If it is current or electricity, it is danger. Like that, if a person sits and start to write all these rules, do you think it is even possible for a person to cover all the scenarios that are existing in the world? No, right? Then how is this done? AI is a kind of system where we given the past data, like if this is this, this is that. Like that, I will give input and also output from my past data. Now we have algorithms which will build these if-else logics or build the kind of function that is required for us inside the model based on the conditions that we give. Okay, a kind of tree that is built, a chain tree or a decision tree that is built within the application or within the system, which will decide if this is the input, what could be the output. So now, by using AI or by using this system, we will give in the past data and train it so that it will draw that relation between those parameters and build a kind of function which gives all these set of rules. Okay, that is what AI is. But now when I'm telling you this is AI, but how do we see a model talking like a human? Every time I ask a different question, it gives a different answer, right? That is called like evolution. From start, in the start of AI as a domain, if else conditions were written, and later at some point, machine learning was brought in, statistics was brought in, and probability was brought in, and we have used all those theorems, algorithms to kind of put it all together to build a system which will understand things. That is how it has evolved. And from there, it has evolved to a different level that we are going to discuss. So now, what is AI? AI is a system that learns pattern from data rather than following a hard-coded logic. Okay. It learns patterns from the data. In traditional programming, we just give an input to the function and it gives an output. But in AI, you give input, you give output, and model will build its own function and give predictions. And this particular model becomes a mathematical representation of what is learned. Okay. AI is a kind of learned behavior, not programmed rules. Clear? Till now, I hope it is all clear, and I would like to talk a little more about what happens inside AI. Okay. Before a model is trained, or a LLM is, or a machine learning model, or an LLM, or a kind of transformer is trained, or a neural network is trained, what has to be done? As I said, I want data, which is an input and output for the input as well. Do I have all of them ready? No, I have to collect them. That is the step where people collect the data which is suitable for the model. And then we train those models. That means building the function or the mathematical representation between the relations, right? Once the model is learned, what do we do? We'll just give new output, new input, the new input I'll give and ask it to generate an output, right? This is what the workflow actually is inside artificial intelligence. Okay. Right. What are different system components? Just like we discussed. There's the data set, there is a training pipeline, there is a model architecture that we have to select. For when I say we have to select, it is not you guys, the developers will be doing it. We are just understanding how it is done so that we'll have better clarity of what we are testing. That's all. And once the model is done, to measure if the model is predicting properly or not, how accurate the model is predicting, we have a loss function, right? And then an inferencing engine, which will go touch the model, get the response, and the deployment layer, right? Let's pick a use case where I have a departmental store, okay? And I bring in stocks of different groceries. Clear? Now, sometimes what happens is I bring in more stock of some kind of bananas or apples, I bring in more stock, and they're not being sold, they're being left over like that, and they're spoiled. Now I'm bringing in less eggs, estimating that eggs will not be bought much, and now more people are coming for eggs and I don't have any of them to sell. How do I solve this problem? What if somebody could tell me, no, bro, this particular month we have something like this, and people will come. There is Christmas now. People will come and buy chocolates. So you have to bring more stock of chocolates. Okay. Uh, there is summer coming up. So you have to bring in more ice creams into your stock. If somebody tells that to me, my business is simple, my life is simple, right? So now AI is a kind of system that is trained on all sales of my departmental data, which is machine learning model. Departmental data, my departmental store data, I will feed into the machine learning algorithm. And now my machine learning algorithm will predict stocks that are going to be sold based on the pattern of sales that were there. Based on that pattern, it will predict. Okay. So now I have a person, or I have a kind of system which will tell me what to do. That is how AI works. And here I've taken example of a subset of AI, which is machine learning. Right. How is this AI evolved? Let's see the evolution technically. First, as I said, people used to sit and write hard-coded logic, rule-based systems. They used to hard code if else then kind of logic, and they used to build some kind of decision trees. Okay. And after some time, after a decade or so, people started to think like, if I sit writing these rules, even in my complete lifetime, I cannot cover all the rules that are existing in this world. So I cannot build something which is going to work for future. What do we do? People started to bring in statisticians, bring in uh, professors or scientists in probability, and they've all come together to build something which learns based on data given using statistics. Now, statistics is into the picture. Statistics and probability help this particular rule-based system to turn into a model which will build its own rules. And then after some time, what if the data, the relations between different parameters inside the data are not being captured by this machine learning model? What if we can build something which will understand layer by layer the pattern within the data? So now I'll build different layers of these models. Here only one model is working. I'll build a set of neurons. Neurons are a kind of small, simple models, weak learners. I'll put all of them in a row. First layer will understand basic stuff. Second layer will understand little complex stuff. And final layer will understand the exact context of entire thing. Like that, if I can build something, it will be very good, right? Like that, people have come to a multi-layer neural network, which is called as deep learning. And at later point, this deep learning has evolved into a transformer, and transformer has evolved into pre-trained models, and these pre-trained models are what we are looking at today. Those are these Gen AI models or Gen AI LLMs. Okay. These LLMs are nothing but the rule-based systems which are evolved to behave like human. Am I clear? I hope it is all clear to you. I'm not just speaking to myself. Can anybody respond if everything is clear till now, or you want my pace to be a little slow or little fast, anything like that?
Yeah, everything is good.
It's okay for me, Mama. Just one question, please, so I know we are not
Yes.
can ask questions. Would you be able to send all this after the session so we can go
Yeah,
through?
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
sure, sure. Yeah,
yeah. Thank you.
actually, these PPTs, like we don't cover the entire information in these PPTs. These are just some kind of visual representations to make you understand. So maybe while you watch the video, if you look at these PPTs, you'll have better understanding, because whatever I have spoke like is from my voice, right? All the information that I'm giving is through my voice itself. You can
Oh,
get minimal information, and you will understand these PPTs only if you have listened to my class, right? So maybe
oh,
I'll be definitely sharing all of this with you,
okay. Yeah, thank you.
and if required, we'll definitely think of providing some kind of notes or transcripts of whatever we have discussed. Right? Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's move ahead. What is the difference? You are saying that all of this has evolved to a system which will talk to me like a human. But what is the main difference? Here, in rule-based approach, the knowledge is explicitly written, right? Explicitly programmed. But in case of machine learning systems or AI systems, knowledge is encoded as parameters. Let's say, when I say parameters, what are these different parameters? You're talking a different language now. How do I understand what are these parameters? In a table or in the data that I have, there are different columns, right? Different columns or different attributes that are there in the data. Let's say I have data of my grocery store. I just told you department store I have, and I store all these groceries. Now, in the list of groceries that I have, how do I maintain that table? I have a serial number, I have name of grocery, I have grocery supplier name, I have the quantity of it, I have expiry date of each grocery, and I have a kind of formula behind that particular thing. Like formula in the sense, like could be health formula. How much protein is there? How much fat is there? All those things I can store in it, right? And the final endpoint, how many number of sales are done for that particular product. Now, these are different parameters which are inside the user input or the data that we are training our machine learning model with. Now, after all this is done, these are all are turned into machine learning parameters, and they are encoded in machine learning's language, its own math, right? Now, when I give a new, completely new thing, completely new in the sense, I will give with a different timeline, bro. Right? There is a trend that is being followed. So in a different timeline, I'll come and say, "Hey, I want to bring stock for apples. How much do I bring? How much should I bring?" It'll just give me a number. How is it giving it? It is predicting based on the weights that are learned for each parameter. Like in all of these parameters that I have in this table, it will weight each of the parameter. What is the influencing factor? What is influencing people to buy? There are different hidden parameters. There are different hidden relations between parameter and parameter. Now, my machine learning model will learn these parameters and assign weights to them. Okay. I'll say, let's say apple is there or ice cream is there. What season it is. That is an important thing, right? What time it is, people are buying. All of this information is there. Now I will weight it based on the season. So now for this particular prediction, I'll give more weight to the season. I'll give more weight to the time, and also I'll give more weight to the flavor of ice cream that I have. Now, when people come and ask me, or the user comes and gives in a value based on all these parameters, first I'll go like I, in the sense, the machine learning model will go there and check what season it is, and then it will go check what flavor it is, and then it will go check which company ice cream is this. All these things it will check, and based on the relation, it will give response. Right? But here, whatever approach that we have talked about, all of it can be written here like a kind of decision tree. But we are only just mentioning if and else. And we have to do all this logic of finding relation between parameter and parameter. But here in model, it encodes all of them and assigns weights to each of the parameters, right? And based on the relation between all those parameters, it will predict new things. So now here, no manual rule creation is required. Developers don't write logic, and the model learns logic statistically itself. So whenever there is a complex pattern, it will adapt itself. And based on the volume of data, it will scale itself. So engineer does not have to sit and write new rules for new data. It will understand itself, it will learn itself. Clear? This, like, why have we evolved? By evolving from rule-based approach to a modern approach, learning-based approach, what have we won? Each step in the evolution has increased scale, the amount of data it can handle, the amount of abstraction it can handle, and it gives a kind of generalization power where anything can be asked without even worrying about the rule-based setup that is there. Did I include this rule inside it or not? That kind of questions don't come up. So now I want you to understand that the parameters in this particular data are being weighted according to the importance or according to the relation that it holds with other parameters in the data, right? I hope this is clear. Good, right. What is machine learning? Am I going a little more technical? No, right? Yes.
Yes, yes, yeah, more close.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
We're,
it is a
we're
basic,
feeding
like
as
I'm
all the
trying to give
data
a,
science concept in tables.
I didn't get you.
Yeah, we're feeding all the data science concept at a time.
No, like this is what we need just as a understanding. We are not going to write these formulas. We are not going to learn Bayes theorem. We are not going to learn statistics. But we have to understand how things work, right? Like without even understanding what is if and else. Can you go write complete if else based logic? No, right? Without even knowing how these systems work, how are we going to test them? So that is the main core concept here, why we are learning each of them. Okay. And I ensure that this is not too deep. If you feel something is deep, if I feel something is deep also, I'll avoid them. Like I want to give information which is exactly just as required. I'm not going anything deep. I'm not treating you guys as developers, and I don't want you to build models. I just want you to understand how these models work. Fine. Yeah. I'll just quickly.
Hi,
Did somebody
hello.
speak?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Actually, I just also want to know that whether this course is basically related to development side or anyone QA, like I am working in a QA and handling and working in a AI project also, Gen AI and agentic AI. So is it useful for me or this is purely based on development people?
No, it is not at all for complete development. Here we are learning to like maybe. Did you join yesterday's session?
No, actually today is my first session. Sorry for that.
Yeah. So yesterday I've given a proper understanding who this course is for, but still I'll
Okay,
repeat that for you. I'll repeat that for you. So here we are
okay,
just like as part of this course, we are going to train QAs, testers, QAs to train LLMs. Sorry, to test LLMs, to test generative AI applications. How do we test them? We have we will learn that as part of this course. How do we test them and what are different parameters that are to be validated from AI's responses? Okay. And to understand how it responds, we have to know how it works, right? That is the reason we are just understanding things. Okay.
okay. Understood. Thank you.
Yes. And now I'll just give the concept of parameterization and weight distribution was a little important. So I was stressing much on that concept. And rest all I'll give a proper understanding and move on by discussing slide by slide. Okay. Now, what is machine learning? We have discussed that. Just giving data, building a function, and this particular function will approximate for new values. That means it learns mapping things. If f of x is given, if a function is built and x is the input, y will be predicted. Email text is given, let's say. We have to predict the spam probability. Like the model will predict the kind of spam probability, how spam it is. Is it going to be a spam or not spam? Is it harm or not harm? Like that. Okay. And what is the training process to it? We will initialize weights, we will give data, it will understand the data, right? uh, it'll make predictions, compute the loss, and again, it'll understand how to update these weights. There is a kind of loop that runs, which will train these models. Like first, I've learned something. I'll go predict it. If it is giving wrong answer, I'll come back, edit these weights, and again predict. Like that, as a part of iteration process, you will calculate these. Like the model will understand how well it is performing and it will improve itself. And what is loss function? Loss function is a kind, like these are all the things that you're going to test. Okay. And what is loss function? Loss function is a kind of measure or a parameter to measure how perfectly or how differently it is responding than the expectation. Okay. From the expectation, how is the actual output? How is it different? Okay. And yeah, as of now, what have we learned? Till here, what have we learned? We are almost like 24 minutes or like 20 minutes into the meeting, 24 or 25 minutes into the meeting. And as of now, what we have we have understood that AI is learned. AI systems learn data from hard-coded rules. We have understood end-to-end pipeline of AI, like machine learning training, how this function approximation is done, how iterative training is done, and how the loss is computed, and to minimize it, how it trains itself, we have learned. Okay. And now we will just see like I've told you, no, these parameters will be weighted, and these weights are going to be the main decision factors for these models to predict. And now that is how, what if one model is giving me that much good results? What if 10 different models are there or 100 different models are there in layer by layer? Each layer will understand some part of complexity. But while passing to the next layer, next few models, just like project architecture, if you're building something, some project or some application, somebody will take care of front end, somebody will take care of back end, somebody will take care of the architecture, all of these security, all of these things, right? Just like that, there are different neurons which are nothing but simple models, will take care, each neuron will take care of each kind of complexity. So now it is distributed and it works more refined way, or it works in a more better way. Okay. And till now, do you have any questions? I hope it is not too much into technical. I'm just giving you a high level explanation itself. As of now, do we have any questions? We'll just
Uh,
spend 5 or 10 minutes on the question.
I have one question. So, when you say neurons, what exactly it is? That mathematical representation, or right now you said it's a model. What is it actually? Neuron.
Neuron is a kind of function that is developed, right? These functions, like each neuron is like a model. Each neuron is called as a perceptron. Okay,
Mm,
one model will understand one kind of complexity. Okay, let's say there is an image. Okay, image
mm.
you want to understand. This image, you want to train your model. Now, few pixels are covered by one neuron, few pixels are covered by another neuron. Like that, these neurons are nothing but small models which share the load across all the data and train better to understand the complexities better. Okay, just these are like small model which work in
Many
group.
models. Inside a model itself, there are many models like
Many
that.
models, yes, just like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And one more thing, where do we set these parameters, that weight you said, or is it done while
Internally,
learning?
everything is done internally. Everything is done internally.
Okay. Okay. As in, while that learning pattern itself, it'll learn that it is how much weight it is and all like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Like based on the relation, it'll draw relations, it'll draw kind of visualizations within itself to understand the relation and assign weights. Let's say currently I have assigned all the weights as 0 and started predicting. Now I understand that one particular parameter is influencing it. Now I'll go back, change the weight, predict again. Go back, change the weight, predict again. A kind of backward propagation is done until the expected accuracy is reached. How am I calculating this accuracy? Using the loss function. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So that
Yes.
is
Thanks.
for this accuracy is for can be done for labeled data. I mean to say this backward propagation is only possible, adjustment is possible when we already know the output.
Yes, when we already know the output. This is done for structured data and labeled data. And unlabeled data works in a different kind of story. That has a different story. Okay. That is all,
Uh,
that is not that much required for testing. Okay. And all this, what we have discussed, is being talked about only the structured data and tabular data. How are we going to handle, how are we going to handle natural language texts, or a kind of texts, like the messages that we given, or the responses that we are training these models for? All of this, how is this being understood by a model? I was talking like uh, the model understands the parameters which are numerical. The model assigns weights to these numerical values, and it builds a kind of mathematical representation, and they work together. Like they build a kind of mathematical function, and it proceeds that way. We have spoken. But how are these texts treated there? How is it learning about these texts? That is a complicated question, right? That is where this concept of NLP comes in. Okay, NLP is a concept of building machine learning models or building deep learning networks which will understand natural language models, natural language texts. Okay, let's say now if I can convert, I can find a way to convert all these texts into numbers. Okay, a numerical representation of each text. Will it be easy for a machine learning model to understand them? Right? Am I sounding relatable? What what if there is a way of converting all these texts? When I say hi, hi is given a specific number, numerical representation, so that the the model will understand or the function will understand. I'll say hi, how are you? The word hi, how are you? The sentence how are you will hold a different value, a different numerical representation. How does that sound? Right? How do we do that? That concept we are going to understand. Okay. There is a concept called as tokenization and embedding. I am giving you a promise that this will be the last technical thing that we are going to discuss as of today, and later we'll jump into we will jump into a demo and then take your questions. Okay. Why NLP is special? NLP is a concept, or natural language processing is a concept where we treat these texts as numbers. We will convert all these texts into numbers or numerical representation. Okay. And this numerical representation is converted into an embedding. What is an embedding? All these things we will discuss. Okay. First, what is tokenization? Models cannot see words, they just see tokens. What are tokens? Tokens can be words, subwords, parts of those words, all of these things. Right? How do we do that? Like what are tokens? Tokens are broken words. A big sentence is given as an input. It will break these words into smaller chunks. Okay. These smaller chunks are going to be converted into numerical values. Okay. How are they going to convert it into numerical values? That we will discuss in the later part. But for now, we just have to understand that these texts, whichever we are giving as input, are being chunked into smaller units, and these tokens or words are converted into numbers, or a vector representation or numerical representation of these words is done by an embedding model that we are going to discuss a little deeper in tomorrow's class. Okay, for now, I will give you a demo where you will understand how each word, by just by adding in each word, how the entire response of an AI changes. Okay, now I'm just heading towards some application called as ChatGPT. I hope nobody is not aware of this thing. I don't think there is a person in this room who doesn't know what ChatGPT is because of the trend that is there. Now here, if I'm going to as I said, if I'm giving a sentence, it will take the response as chunks and understand them internally and respond in a way. If I give one more word extra also, how is the response going to change? We will understand now. Okay. First, we will ask same question like what we have discussed now. Explain A in simple words. See, artificial intelligence is explained in simple words. There is a structure that is followed. Okay. It is discussing about in simple words, it has explained, it has given me a simple way to understand, everyday example, one line analogy, all of these things has given. Now I'll open a new chat. Okay. Now I'll ask in special words. Instead of using the word AI, I'll use what is artificial intelligence. Explain in simple terms. I'm changing the question. After I change the question, the response that it will give, I'll just duplicate this. And I will have my previous response also here so that we can compare both the responses. Now, I have asked a different question, same question in a different way, and the explanation will be completely changed. The structured response is also completely changed. Now, what happened here? Why did the structure change? Or why did the depth of explanation changed? Because there is a different tokenization, different embedding, and different probability distribution that is done. That is the reason there is a different output. Okay. So this, all the things that we have discussed currently, we is just for understanding how things work. We are not going to develop them or take the responsibility of developing things related to machine learning or AI. We are just understanding them so that we will have better idea while we are testing. Okay, that's all I had to tell in today's class. Let's jump on to questions. Yes, guys. Do we have any questions till now of what we have discussed? First, we will talk about that, and then we will talk about the course related questions that we have. I hope the explanation that I have given in the entire class or in the entire discussion is understandable and the pace suits you. If not, you just let me know. I'll just bring down my pace or bring up my pace to make you feel comfortable. Okay. You can start raising your hands to ask questions. We'll discuss on the questions related to the concept that we have discussed first and then about course. Yes, Poonam.
So you talked about that loss function, but then I was a little lost because I was thinking about the earlier. Will you be
Mhm.
explaining that again? Because I think you mentioned that this is important for testing, right? These are parameters, uh,
Yes.
right? So will you be explaining it later on again? Well,
Yes,
tomorrow?
yeah, sure.
Uh,
Yes, sure, sure, sure.
okay, great.
Definitely.
Okay.
Like
And next,
just now,
hmm,
now I'm just giving you an overview of different concepts that we are going to use, so that at later point when we are discussing about something, you just don't feel like you are from a
lost.
different world,
Okay,
right? You just have
got
to
it now.
have a heads up of what all these terms that we are going to use, right? That is the reason we have touch based those things in this class. Yes.
Okay.
And
And next was about the course. Can I ask or shall I wait here?
we'll just wait
Yeah,
for
yeah.
course related questions. Maybe
Okay, okay,
till like maybe we can wait for another 5 minutes and then start asking questions about the course.
okay.
Yes. I see
Done.
Sharanya Balakrishnan.
Yeah. So my question is, if the tokenized one, I mean, if we give the input and it is making chunk, right, that will be deferred according to the model.
Yes.
Okay, according to the
Different
model, it
models,
will. Uh,
different models understand things differently. And the tokenization of words can also be done based on the model. And we don't, as an AI tester, we don't have to worry about all these chunks, the kind of chunking what is being done, or the kind of tokenization that is implemented there. We just have to worry about the responses and the tokens inside the responses. Like these tokens, whichever are being taken as an input for into a model will be built by the service provider. Like OpenAI has their own model, Gemini has their own model. So now, as a tester, we will also have to optimize, like look for optimizing the kind of response that we are getting. For a simple question like, "Hi, how are you?" If it starts to talk 10 lines about it, is it not going to cost me more? Right?
yeah.
So
Mm.
whose responsibility is it to validate that it is not being overspent? These tokens are not being overspent. We have to validate them, right? How do we validate them without knowing the concept of token, right? That is the reason we
Mm.
are learning this tokenization thing. And tokens from one model to another model is different, and tokens cost for one model and another model are different. Okay, we will be discussing them when we come across such topic. Okay.
Okay. And also regarding the weight and parameter also I have a lot of gaps. I think hopefully we'll discuss in upcoming class.
Yes, when we start each of the concept one by one, we will do them. We will
Yeah.
discuss them. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Chitra.
Thanks.
Uh, uh, yeah, Chitra, I see you have raised your hand.
Yeah. Uh, so the two different things, right? One is the model or the LLM fine tuning, and the
Mm-hmm.
second one is actually evaluating the LLM Gen AI based
Mm-hmm.
applications. So, which section is this? Whatever you are like went through today's session, is this
Mm-hmm.
related to the fine tuning part, or is it needed even for the evaluation of the RAG or agentic system?
Yes, I'll tell you. This particular concept needs to be learned by everyone, not deeper, but still have an idea. Like, let's say there are QA testers who are testing UI. Without having an understanding of what sidebar is, how are they going to test if the sidebar is working or not? Without having an understanding of login page, how login page works, how are they going to test? Right? You will test things which you know how they work like. You can write better test scenarios if you understand how they work like. That is the reason we are just learning these things to have an idea. But we are not going to implement all these things while we write these test cases or test LLMs. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I was just
Hmm.
trying to ask you how, like, so far, I was under the impression that for validating or evaluating the Gen
Hmm.
A applications, all we need to do is, something else. But looks to me like learning this fundamental to a level will actually help us. Or it will
Yeah.
be this will be later used somewhere when you actually do a hands-on. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. All of this is a kind of understanding that you should have to write better test cases or to write better test plans. Okay. You
Okay.
will, yeah, that's all. Like, you're not, see, to all of the people who are in this class, this particular complex things are not going to be on your head when you start working. All of this is going to be taken care by developers. But when the developer comes and tells, like, yeah, I've used this token size. Yeah, yes, I've used this chunking method, something like that. And you will be asking them, right? How did you resolve this particular error or bug? When they start to explain or when they start to give reasoning, it should be relatable for you. That is the reason we are just learning these things. We are not
Yeah, that,
going to learn these complex things, writing these complex machine learning algorithms or anything as such. This
okay.
course is
So
going to
that
be simple and I would make everything simple for you.
okay. So that's
Yes.
where I exactly need the clarification. So, a
Hmm.
developer who is actually developing a Gen AI RAG or agentic system, he
Hmm.
is he doesn't he's still developing using LangChain or directly using Python to develop the
Hmm.
entire flow, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Without learning all these details in depth.
Hmm.
And the testing on that application, the
Hmm.
developer, I don't think the developers will come back and say that, talk about the parameters, or because that is irrelevant. That's why I asked you if this is
Hmm.
tightly, directly related to the fine tuning, because that's where
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
developer makes sense.
Yes. Yes, yes, it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. I was a little confused with your question, but it is very much clear now. All of these concepts are very much important for a developer for training these models or fine-tuning these models, not for the tester. These are just good to know things or
Okay,
happy to learn things. Okay.
okay,
Yes.
okay, makes sense.
Thanks, Chitra. Yeah. I see two more people. Mm, two or four more people. Hari?
Hi. The session is good. But whatever the topics you discussed today, all some high level technical things, I could not
Yes.
able to understand much. And one more thing, you are discussing over the PPTs, right? So
Hmm.
upcoming sessions also it will be like this only over the PPTs. You are going to discuss the
No, no,
topic.
no, no. No, no. We are
Okay.
going to write logics. We are going to discuss things in depth while implementing things. This is a kind of understanding session or a kind of heads up session for you for the
Yeah.
parameters things that are the nomenclature that we are going to use. When I
We
directly
are
say
going.
what is I'll use, yeah,
We are going to
you were talking
discuss from
something.
the basics, right? What is machine learning?
Yes,
What is deep learning, neural networks, NLP, those things.
we are not going to learn them, but we will have idea of what they are. That's all. That
Okay.
is
Yeah,
for
just basic
development.
idea.
For it, yeah. Basic idea is yes, I will give basic idea of what different things are when we are practically implementing all of those things. And for an AI tester, just having an idea of what they are is enough. You don't have to know how they are built. Okay. You just have to know how they work. That's all.
Okay. And are you going to provide any notes during this course?
Yeah, I will share these PPTs, and whenever we do some kind of coding or development, I will be providing all of those Jupyter notebooks with you so that you can sit back and run those files again. Like you can sit back and execute those code sections. And also, I'll be giving you all the code. And also, if there is any error, also I'll be giving the entire working solution with you, and you can
Mhm.
run all of them after the class. So that will work as a complete proper notes for you.
Okay. And coming to the course content, so this is a purely automation or 50% functional testing and 50% automation, something like that we are going to cover.
The person who is speaking is, I just missed your name.
Hari.
Hari, yeah, Hari. Did you join yesterday's session?
No, 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 no. This is the first class.
Yes. Yeah, that is why you have a different set of questions. Here, this particular course that we have or that we are going to learn is not a regular testing course. Okay, here we are going to learn how AI testing is done and they are automated. Okay, here we are going to learn how functional testing is done. Okay, how on what parameters this functional testing is done and how to automate these tests, testing or automate these testing workflows as well. So you can refer to the demo video recording and you will have better idea. Do you want me to put in that demo video URL here somewhere in the
Yes,
chat so that you can save it for later? Do you want me
yes,
to do that?
yes, please.
Yes, I'm doing it
Yes.
right
Yeah.
away. And the next question, please. Suryakant.
Yeah, hi. So I just wanted to know how much amount of practical are we covering in this course? Like, what is the percentage of practical and what would be the percentage of theory?
When, to answer your question, completely we are going to learn things in a way it should be learned, like how much theory is required and how much practical is required. We will be teaching them, and most of the things will be hands-on. We will be doing everything on the go. Okay, and along with that, you will have proper understanding of the theoretical elements that are required. We are not going to dump you with a lot of overwhelming information also. And also we are not going to make you sit write the entire code by yourself. We are going to teach you how to generate this code also. And also we are going to have understanding of the theoretical concepts so that you can validate the code if they're working or not, if it is a proper code that was given or not.
Okay, also, would you be sharing the types of question which we get for interviews as well at the end?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yes. We will be doing it. Yes, we will be doing it. I'll be giving
okay,
you a complete cheat sheet of AI testing.
okay, fine.
So do you mind, sorry, this is Chitra. So do you mind giving a heads up on
Hmm.
just few minutes tomorrow
Hmm.
if you are covering a technical like what's the your agenda, the technical
Mm-hmm.
details. Maybe it will be helpful because today's it's good to know that we have to have the understanding, but it's hard to digest in 20 minutes those mathematical
Mm-hmm.
concepts. So if you can
Mm-hmm.
highlight, at the end, somewhere you can highlight the technical details you will be going tomorrow, maybe having
Mm-hmm.
a research or something, so it will be more easy to ask meaningful questions.
Yes, and Chitra, I'm very happy to have this question from you. When you said you want to do some research before getting into the class, I want to give in this particular class or in this particular course, like you don't have to do any research. I'll be giving you the entire information. Let's say in this 20 minutes, whatever things we have covered, you have a question on it. You can directly ask me to dig deeper and explain you better so that you'll have complete understanding. Or you can ask me for material after the class so that uh, the heads up that is required is given by me, and then you will have a better understanding after you go through those things. And mostly, I'll try to cover everything within the class itself so that you don't have to go back and again do some research without having understanding in the class. Okay, if you want something to be a little more explained, you can just stop me there and say, Varma, you can explain this a little better, or I want you to go a little deeper. I want to understand it more. If you give me questions like that, I would be happy to explain them very much in detail.
Okay, so can you, if you are not sharing, so the reason I asked is today's session, how much of whatever you taught I learned from it, it's very doubtful. Maybe it's not unclear, it's not clear to me
Hmm,
at this. So
hmm,
maybe, so I didn't interrupt you to ask. Maybe every single word might be new to me, neuron,
hmm, hmm,
right?
hmm, hmm,
So that how do I stop you right there? That's why I thought
hmm, hmm,
maybe
hmm,
if
hmm,
you
hmm.
are
Okay,
tomorrow, you
okay.
know,
Like currently, we are going through a kind of let us consider this as also a kind of demo or a preface of the course. We are not yet into the direct course yet, right? Once we are into the direct course or complete hands-on kind of thing that we do, at that point, I'll be explaining each of these things, each of the word that I have uttered in this class, so that you'll have better understanding there. We can't learn the entire AI testing in 1 hour class, right? I'm just giving
yeah,
you a heads up or a kind of preface of this course. That's all.
okay.
Yes. And I see, yes, Chitra, you can drop down your raised hand. And Lokesh,
Yeah, so I just want to know whether going for this course, do someone is aware about the programming knowledge pure, like any kind of
not required.
automation, not required.
Not required.
And are we covered from how traditional to AI process? Maybe in yesterday's session, maybe you have covered that thing.
Yes,
Also. So I will go through it that one, then we'll
yes.
discuss.
And I'm ensuring that this particular course, you don't have to know anything regarding coding. I will be giving you knowledge of each element of that coding also, like like you have to understand the syntax, right? How things are written. All of that input also I am going to teach you. And I am also going to teach you how to generate this code using different AI tools. Right? If we are going to use these AI tools, why do I have to learn writing the code? Just to validate if the code that is written by AI is correct or not. Where will you go
Oh,
if the code given by an LLM is wrong or not suitable for the use case that you are doing it? You just have to have understanding of things so that you can edit them yourself or make them fit into your application, right? That is the reason we are going to understand them,
mm,
like learn them.
oh,
And not everything is completely ready-made. I'll clearly teach you how things work and how to write each piece of code, what each piece of code means in even in the automations that we write also. Manually, we can test these LLMs, okay? I will, just as I said, I have made a change in the prompt. What is AI? What is AI? Artificial intelligence explained in a simple terms, right?
Right.
These are two different prompts that I have given. That means these two are two different test cases, right? And the change in prompt or the variation in prompt is a kind of test scenario, right? Now, if I have to validate 100 more systems like this with 1,000 more prompts, am I going to sit here and validate them manually? Can I do that? It cannot be scaled, right?
Yes.
We have to, there is a requirement of automation. There is a need for automation. And that to do that automation, we require a simple understanding or basic understanding of the syntax so that we can do all of it by generating code from AI using AI. Just to validate them, we have to have a good understanding of programming, which is given within this course itself. You don't have to learn it yourself and come back here. I will teach everything inside the course itself, within the course itself. Okay.
One more thing, what kind of tools we are using covered in this course,
Yeah, the tools that we are going to
or
use,
ML and
the
all?
tools, yeah, the tools that we are going to use here are DeepEval, Ragas, and we are going to look at Gemini AI Studio. We are going to look at Hugging Face. We are going to work with GitHub Actions, all of these things.
Okay. Okay. And these
Like,
are, I hope so, these are all the latest one in the current
yes,
market.
yes, all of them are
And
latest ones.
what would be the opportunities like suppose someone is having this kind of knowledge and all, so how quickly or means just I just
I,
want to.
yeah, I have discussed all of this in detail in
Oh,
yesterday's class.
okay, okay, leave it then, leave it.
Yes, yeah, yes. And now I just want to discuss. I hope the concept related questions are done. I just want to inform you that if you have any questions related to course that are related to timings or that are related to the costing or payment related stuff, we have Lakshmi in the call. I have given number of Lakshmi yesterday. I'll again give the number here. You can talk all of it with Lakshmi. Lakshmi will take care of all of those things. Okay. And anything else that we want to discuss?
How will you be sharing all the recordings via same YouTube and WhatsApp, all the code and all?
There will be links provided to you.
Okay.
Lakshmi, can you answer that question if you are in this call? Yeah, like more like there will be a platform that will have all these recordings and you can watch all of them there.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thanks.
And any more questions? How many of you have already enrolled for this course? I see six hands are raised. Yeah, I hope like uh, more people would be starting their journey with us today or tomorrow.
Yeah,
I
sorry, excuse me, a small doubt here.
yes,
Uh,
Soma. Yes, Soma. Go
Only
ahead.
AI testing related, we can get the opportunities, and we can do any type of any freelancing works or anything works we'll
Yeah, you
get
can do all
or
of it. You can work with freelancing related to AI testing itself, and we offer many other solutions like many other courses as well, where it is related to playwright, it could be related to manual testing, it could be related to AI development, all of these things. We are providing different courses for it, but this particular course, which is a 40 hour session, 40 hour session, is going to cover entire stuff related to AI testing only. So you can expect roles related to AI testing, AI validators, and you can also expect freelance gigs also related to this domain itself.
Okay.
Yes, thanks. Yes, Arun.
Do you providing any materials also after these sections for
Yes,
just practice purpose?
yes. Whenever there is a hands-on, we will be providing the exercises also for you to run through and get proper understanding, like practice.
Okay. And one more small doubt. I forgot to ask you. While
Mm,
you are using the tools, AI tools,
mhm.
you will guide as a free tools also. Why? Because as a
Yes.
real time, for too many having as a paid tools only. Okay, in the
Mhm,
paid tools only, we are getting some futures. Unpaid
mm,
tools, we are not getting the some futures. So while
mm,
testing time,
mhm.
testing AI tools type of tools will get in the testing level.
Yes. We will be discussing about free tools or free subscriptions that we have. Yeah. Yes, Chitra. One last question before ending the session.
And one more small doubt. We can see here, we are going to training on the AI testing. I'm a real time what loans domain testing real time manual tester. Okay, my
Mhm,
experience is 10 plus. Uh,
mhm,
by using that AI tool,
mhm,
AI, I can
mhm.
generate my real time test cases and everything.
Yes, but actually, not in a way that it is there. Like,
Okay.
we will discuss this offline maybe. Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
no
covered
issue.
all this discussion maybe in yesterday's class itself. You can go through the session again.
Yes, you have explained clearly and everything yesterday
Mm-hmm,
regarding AI related only. My question is simply different. As we are using the loans module and testing every time real time. So that type of related data I can put and I can generate the test cases. That type of prompts you can how to give the prompts in a prompt, how to give the prompt in the AI tool. Can you you will guide in upcoming sections. Why? Because
yes, yes, sure.
if we are giving the correct prompt